Okay. Song of Pelennial, Volume 8. On his revelation and the death of the Alesh. Editor's note. This is the oldest and most fragmentary of all the extant Pelennial texts. It is, however, likely closest to the original spoken or sung form of the song, and therefore has great value despite its brevity. Strangely, it appears that Pelennial is present at Alessia's deathbed, although he was likely killed by Umar earlier in the saga, years before Alessia's death. Some scholars believe that this fragment is actually not a part of the Song of Pelennial, but most accept its authenticity, though there is still much debate as to its significance. I'm left to gather the sinew with my other half, who will bring the light thereby. This fonting is confusing my brain. And will bring lighting thereby to that mortal idea that brings the gods great joy, that is, freedom, which even the heavens do not truly know, which is why our Father, in those first days, spirits swirls before convention, that which we echoed in our earthly madness. Let us now take you up. We will show our true faces, which eat one another in amnesia each age. Interesting. Nope. Stuck. Book. Invocation of Hircine. Mighty Lord Hircine, noble Lord Hircine, we come before you in all obeisance and humility, acknowledging your divine authority over the forest and all the lawful prey therein. We invoke you, O Master of the Chase, in your aspect of Al-Rabeg the Hunter, to look kindly upon the endeavors of these, your worshippers, as we praise you by engaging in the hallowed tradition of the hunt. Ever do we respect the law of the fair hunt, never taking a quarry that had no chance of escape. Ever do we respect the prey, thanking it for its sacrifice and our worship of you. Ever do we respect the huntsman, beseeching your permission even as we lose the arrow. Bless us as we hunt, O Hircine. Help us to hunt with honor and bring in prey both lawful and bountiful. See, that seems like a very tame invocation of Hircine, which really, I mean, all Daedra to some extent have more not normal, but like toned down things that you can acknowledge from them. Okay, the Argonian Maid, filled with innuendo. Body delightful and filled with innuendo. I don't think I'm actually gonna read it. It's just describing the lusty Argonian Maid, which is a series of innuendo books. I leafed through it slow enough so that, like, if you're so inclined, you could pause the VOD. I don't think it's that important, though. Drink? Oh, no! We are full! Okay, do we have a... Can we take a food? Or did we just do a food? We just did a food. Can we have one of each? What happens if we drink this? Because that's a health recovery. Okay, it does replace. Oh well. Old Clear Eye Whiskey. Coins? Don't mind. If I do. Okay, that's the same book. And we go to the Greymore Keep Kennels. I really like the loading screen illustrations.
Essenia, I'll do anything she asks.
Prisoners, come on, let's hurry.
Be silent, children.
Oh gosh.
I won't tell you again.
Bad moment to take a water break, huh? I have to look at the wardrobes. Bookshelf. Nord Cuisine Sweets Edition. I have to read this. I love the books about food. They're so interesting. By Gilbert Becquer. While there have been many accounts detailing the various meads enjoyed by the Nords, there is surprisingly little information on their preferences in cuisine. While Nord recipes may not be as thrilling or as complex as some other cultures, I believe them still worthy of note. There are many delicacies to be had among Nords. They are a hardy people that drink and eat with more passion and vigor than any I've ever encountered. Tasteless food is as much an insult to them as cowardice on the battlefield. I shall transcribe my explorations of their cuisine here. Sweet treats. Honey-dipped apples. I would be remiss if I did not discuss the tart apples of Skyrim. A staple of Nord households, this fruit is as common in Skyrim as a mud crab along a riverbank. It can be eaten as nature intended, directly from a tree, or it can be used to enhance stews, meat dishes, or salads. Perhaps the best use is as a dessert. The ingredients for a honey-dipped apple are rather obvious. Simplicity is at the heart of most Nord recipes. The foundations are plain and uncomplicated, but their end result is truly a tasty experience. Apples are either served roasted or raw, then iced with a drizzle of sweet milk and honey. They are sticky, messy, sweet, and tart. And wholly wonderful. Snowberry crostata. On their own, snowberries are so tart as to be quite unpalatable. The same cannot be said of a snowberry crostata. Simpler than a pie, and yet no less delectable, this pastry perfectly marries the tartness of the berry with the sweetness of the bread to create a truly memorable experience. Enjoy this delicacy after a meal as a treat, or even in the morning, before the common Nord goes about his day. The versatile nature of the flavors make both options equally appealing. Jazabé crostata. In contrast, the Jazabé crostata is strictly a delicacy best enjoyed after a heartier meal. While it is most often used by mages, the distinctive sweetness of these grapes cannot be ignored by any who considers them a food connoisseur. The dark, sweet juice of the grape sinks into the dough to create a deliciously moist base, though it's sturdy enough to not be soggy. Some say the sweetness overwhelms, but I say they are absolutely wrong. Honey nut treat. Nords love their honey. It sweetens their mead perfectly, but that's not all. Popular in many a meadery across Skyrim, the honey nut treat is a sweet partner to any kind of drink. While messy, this sticky, nut-studded dough can conveniently be skewered on a stick so that you can carry it anywhere. Whether you're traveling long distances or just enjoying a drink by the fire at your favorite inn, the honey nut treat is an enjoyable snack that everyone should try at least once. Okay, shall we check this wardrobe? The axe does 1206. We did just put our glyph on. That's what? That's like 15 more damage or so. Not really worth it. Okay, we got another book. The Tower of the Wolf from the Masonry of Solitude Digest. I've had a few opportunities to update my initial corpus on the construction and stylings of my beloved homeland, and even now my quill shakes with curiosity. To think that, within my lifetime, I would be able to put to paper a fifth addendum, and one that involves so illustrious an architectural example as Castle Tower. Yes, loyal readers of my digests will be familiar with the main keep, Sparta's donjon, the Temple of the Divines, and the curtain walls that dominate the skyline of Solitude. Our High King Svargrim has seen fit another finger to the stone fist. Has seen fit to add another finger to this stone fist, the most ambitious one yet. Though construction only started within the past year, it is already near its completion. We call the new edifice the Tower of the Wolf, drawing its name from the noble beast that adorns Solitude's heraldry. How impressive it looks, sweeping up to the stark sky, dwarfing even Svarter's donjon. I am happy to report that this quarry, which that the quarry which furnished the castle's original stone was able to supply what was needed for the construction of the Tower of the Wolf. Reports of the quarry's depletion were apparently unfounded. As excited as I am to discuss the Tower of the Wolf in greater architectural detail, I am unfortunately unable to. Access to the tower has been denied to all but those actively working on the structure. I appealed to the Blue Palace for a special exception, given my area of interest, but the bureaucrats rebuffed me. I was undeterred in my appeals, and you can imagine my shock when I received a reply, not from some minor courtier, but from the High King himself. The interior spaces of the Tower of Wolf must be maintained in secrecy, given the prying eyes of Yoran the False King, wrote High King Svargrim. I could not deny his most pragmatic logic, for the tower is ultimately of military value. I don't know what's up with me reading today. And yet there is hope. The tower nears completion, even as I write this missive, High King Svargrim continued. And when it is complete, the people of Solitude will understand what an accomplishment this edifice is for our people. We need only wait, my loyal readers. Interesting. Trunk? No. What did we pick up? What is our 70th item? Is it the slaughter ball? Okay, yeah. Just alchemy bottles everywhere. Okay, that's a Harrowed. Potion? Book? I think I've read this one, The Tome of the Ebonheart Pact. Never know peace and freedom until we occupy the White Gold Tower. Desk? Star metal. Potion. Captive? 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 Can we not let them out unless they're
Medusa,
named?
are you here?
Medusa? The Khajiit? I know where she is, Elf. Release us and I'll tell you.
Oh, sister as in like... I get it. Sister as in like, sister and a shield type thing. How do we release them? I want to let them all out. Oh, talk to Glendis.
Look at these people. The skin. The eyes. What is Essenia doing to them? To Medusa? I know these vampires might have misguided loyalties, but no one deserves this. Whatever this is.
The bear just disappearing and reappearing. Do you think that vampire really knows where Medusa is?
I've been tortured before. I would have said anything to get out of it. Anything. Then again, he's our only lead. I guess we'll have to risk it.
How do we open the pens? I don't see any gates or levers or anything.
Yeah. Just let me... got it. Look up. See those chains connected to the cages? We need to find the mechanism that lifts and lowers them. Up on that balcony, maybe.
Mechanism on the balcony. Got it. I'll go up and have a
Good.
look.
I'll keep watch down here, just in case any of Essenia's soldiers stroll through. If you manage to open the cages, I'll grab our informant and meet you on your way back down. Just hurry. We're all undead, but he really looks the part.
What do you think Essenia did to these vampires to make them this way?
Poisoned them, I'd wager. Some sort of alchemical experimentation. To what end? That's the question. I just have to believe that Medusa's weathered the effects. She's tough as an Alikir mule. Even so. No, she's fine. She has to be.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
No. Thank goodness, right? Watching someone suffer through the initial effects of the vampiric malignancy is no spring picnic, but at least you know they'll be sane when it passes. This, though? I don't know what this is leading to.
I think we asked this already, right?
Depends on what you mean by her own kind.
Why did she do this to her own
Not all
kind?
vampires are created equal. Most vampires become what they are by contracting a disease. Others, though, purebloods, can trace their powers right back to the source. To Molag Bal.
So you think Essenia is one of these pureblood vampires?
Wouldn't surprise me. Huge underground castle. Hordes of minions. Obvious megalomania. She fits the type. The bad news is purebloods wield far greater power than an average vampire. The good news is... well, I guess there is no good news. Sorry.
I like that she tries to seek out positivity, though. She was trying to think of the good news to give us. And explaining it all. Alright, so she said mechanism. Ah, I see. Does look like that balcony is important. There are a lot of people captive. I guess they're vampires, but still people. I would argue, I don't know. They deserve to be freed regardless. Because whatever is happening isn't right. Whatever this is, it's wrong. We went this way, right? No. Okay. The road to Sovngarde. Lore Masters hear tales of heroes who claim to have traveled to Sovngarde and back. Well, then we've read this. We've read this before. Yeah, I've read this before. True Nord warriors endure for Sovngarde waits. End of the journey. I think I read this one before as well. Hard to remember. Ooh. Recipe already known. Never mind. You should be able to, like, directly use, I think, recipes. Like, you shouldn't have to pick them up first. But I guess that would require, like, an extra button pathing. Which we deserve. Prisoner release lever. Whee!
You're free. Get out of here quickly. Except you, Nord. You're coming with us.
What? No! We'll talk outside. I'm not going to...
You are going to, or I'm going to throw you back in that cave.
We're as bad as Essenia.
All right. You're safe. Now talk.
Do you have anything else to say? Oh, Gwentis.
Don't let this Nord off the hook until he tells us what we need to know. I know he was a captive, but I've got no patience for lies and equivocations. Unlike Count Verandis, my charity has limits.
Hello.
You're fools if you think you'll survive this place on your own. I've seen what Essenia does to people. You have no idea what she's capable of. This Wood Elf's friend, Adusa, she's likely dead. Or worse.
We'll take our chances. Tell us everything you know about Adusa.
Fine. If you want to be her next test subject, so be it. The Blood Queen lured my clan here with promises of protection and glory. We were a small family. Just 4 of us in all. So we came to Greymore Keep expecting a warm welcome.
What happened when you arrived?
They cast us into those pens like dogs. It didn't take long before the tests started. They forced us to drink tinctures, endure injections. They slaughtered anyone who refused. Occasionally, Essenia would come down to select someone for further study.
And Essenia selected Adusa.
Yes. Most of the Khajiit died early, but that Adusa weathered it without so much as a whimper. Essenia mentioned a laboratory beyond the Arboretum. She said something about completing the transformation there. That's all I know. Now let me go!
Alright, we'll look for this laboratory.
Interrogation is over now, right? I need to find a healer. A witch to purge whatever this is out of my blood. You got what you wanted. Now let me go.
Not so fast. I need to know more.
Can't you see I'm in pain? I'll answer a few questions more, but I need to escape this place. I can't think.
This is important. You'll be fine. You're immortal. But this is time sensitive. My companion heard that Essenia ceded her castle to a vampire from the west. Do you know if that's true?
Yes, the Ashen Lord. No one mentions his name. They only whisper about him. The way peasants whisper about Aldwin while they clutch their prayer stones. I've never seen him, but if Essenia swore fealty to him, it must be something horrible.
Did Essenia tell you anything about the tests you're undergoing?
Only that it would unlock our true potential, our hidden strength. Unless my hidden strength is vomiting bile until nothing's left but heaves, I think she's missed the target. What a load of skeever piss. It did drive a few vampires mad, though.
Mad? Mad how?
I mean just what I said. They went feral, hissing and growling
They're
like
around.
animals. Sometimes I feel like I'm bound for the same fate. It's been harder to think, to talk. The light gets too bright sometimes, even candlelight. I have to find a healer.
You said that Adusa weathered it, though?
Better than most. I wager that's why Essenia took her to the laboratory. The Blood Queen's looking for something specific. I don't know what it is, but your Adusa might have it. Too bad for her.
I see. I think they're looking for stronger, maybe purer bonds. Not bonds. Pure, like, vampire blood. Maybe. Gilmore Keep living quarters. I think it's great that we started with Skyrim because we can get so many fighting guild points for doing the... for fighting vampires.
I'm not
Oops.
losing.
I thought that person had something to pick up. Because they're undead and I used a point for each. Anything interesting? Song of Perennial 4. I read that one before.
A dead end. Damn it. No signs of an arboretum or a laboratory. There's got to be a way through.
There's a person with a name. Oh, they're workers, I guess. Slaves? I don't know. Confessions of a Vampire Devotee. I first heard of the vampire lord Zalardu when exploring the markets of Elden Reef. The stories both fascinated and frightened me. Here was a Khajiit vampire, notable, who had gained power and notoriety, whose very name was whispered with fear and a healthy dose of respect. I admit it. I had been pondering the risks and benefits of life as a vampire ever since I was a child. Now, with each tale I heard, every rumor I digested, I realized the goal that was set before me. I had to find Zalardu and convince her to turn me into a vampire. Interesting, because they've been saying Lord and he-him? They've been he-himing them? Maybe this Zalardu is the person, the Ashen Lord? Why do I want to be a vampire? That's a good question. I've certainly asked myself that very same thing on more than one occasion, since this obsession grabbed hold of me. I suppose it has something to do with the allure of power, and the correlation between vampirism and sex that some scholars go on and on about. Yes, I've read every book and letter I could pertaining to the subject. But if I can be totally honest, and since this is my private journal, I suppose I have to be, the real appeal has to do with the longevity of the species. I've read that the ancients can survive hundreds or even thousands of years. As a child who saw both of his parents die much too young, this immortality has become a very attractive option to me. I'm not extremely keen on the idea of drinking blood, however, but I suppose every advantage comes with its own set of disadvantages. Such is the way of the world. I might be squeamish at first, though I expect with time and practice I could even grow to enjoy the daily feast of the crimson liquid. I wonder if it needs to come from an intelligent creature, or if it has to be fresh. I guess that's what the protruding fangs are for. Before I could locate Xalordu's lair or otherwise introduce myself to the vampire lord, Hunter Mel Adris appeared in town. He asked about disappearances and mysterious deaths, and even mentioned Xalordu by name, while I eavesdropped on his conversations with one of the town guards. He was going to ruin my chance to meet and offer myself as an apprentice to the vampire lord. It's a bit naive, isn't it? I followed the hunter around, watching how he searched for traces of Xalordu's passing and tracked her to her lair. It was empty, of course. She was much too smart to be caught by the likes of Mel Aldris. I spent the next few months staying as close to the vampire hunter as I could without revealing my presence. Not much of a good vampire hunter if you'd be traced by some dude obsessed with becoming a vampire. I figured that he'd have to have a better chance at locating Xalordu than I would, and once we got close to the vampire lord, I'd sure be able to figure out how to help her avoid Mel Aldris, and convince her to reward me with the power of the vampire. It was this dream that kept me moving, following the hunter from Grothwood to Greenshade to Malabaltor, until we eventually made our way to the Gold Coast. Here, luck was with me. The vampire hunter was indisposed after we docked in Anvil. The rough storm our ship traveled through seems to have made the poor man ill. This gave me time to search for Xalordu and gain a few steps ahead of Mel Aldris. I believe that she has established her lair in Hrolla Cave, the perfect location from which to stalk prey in Anvil when the hunger comes upon her. I've made my way to the cave and plan to present myself to the vampire lord forthwith. I can't wait to become one of her apprentices. That guy died. That guy definitely died. Hello.
Mistress Messer will be here soon. Notice in place. He will find what he must. Now leave. Cannot talk to outsiders, or Mister will have head.
Wow, the stores and stuff are very interesting. Okay, words of entry. Crypt wardens and servitors. Access to my laboratory remains restricted. For that reason, I have reconfigured the entry to confound underlings who wander these halls in error. Call this simple phrase to mind when looking for the door. We shall rise again. I trust you can infer the rest on your own. If not, you have no business entering my laboratory in the first place. Lady Essenia.
That note. This place is even worse than I thought. Come on, let's find a use for that passphrase.
Rise again. Can we talk to you? Do you have anything to say? Sorry to interrupt you.
Must finish, must clean. All the books in place, even the secret one. Go, go. Must not be seen talking to others. Must clean, must work.
Secret one. Okay, so it's the bookshelf. It's not this one.